Good afternoon, I hope everyone's well today. Thank you for watching, it is appreciated as always. Now if you find value in this video, consider like, subscribing and sharing the video, and comment below if you think I make some interesting points, or you disagree. All comments, all opinions are valid here. So, without further ado, it's all about the Donald, it's all about President Trump, the orange man bad, the one that they all hate, apart from actual people with minds of their own. We all like him. So, what's going on? Well, we know that Trump's going to war with the BBC. He gave them a deadline, I think it was yesterday at 10 PM, I don't know if that's American time or British time, to apologise and get a full-throated retraction out about the Panorama clip. If you don't know what I'm on about the Panorama clip, there was a documentary that aired about a week before the presidential election in the United States. And it was done by an outsourcing company. This is important because it gives the BBC plausible deniability on the editorial content of the independently produced Panorama piece. We're going to get into that in a minute, but this is the edit.
Walk down to the Capitol, and I'll be there with you, and we fight. We fight like hell. We're going to walk down to the Capitol, and we're going to cheer on our brave senators and congressmen and women.
Thank you to the Telegraph for this. Now, they done the journalism, but I'm surprised that it wasn't picked up at the time. It's only become a political issue over a year later. I am quite surprised by that. That's an aside. The issue is that the BBC had put out a less than full-throated apology and said it was a mistake. I don't think it was a mistake. When you drill down into the specifics of this documentary, it was actually 9 people on the documentary that were anti-Trump, and there was 1 person on the documentary that is pro-Trump. Alright? That's not impartial. That's anti-Trump propaganda. Why is this being put out by the impartial BBC? They're not impartial, that's why. They're not impartial. Remember during Brexit, 92% of coverage on the Brexit debate was pro-EU, was anti-Brexit. Again, that's not impartial. Impartial is 50-50, alright? This is one choice, this is the other choice. Make your decision. That is impartiality, and not actually giving a view one way or another. 92% of guests is not impartial. If 92% of your guests are pro-EU, that's not impartiality. Alright? And then we get on to this here. This is very, very interesting, this piece. The BBC doctored a second speech, and this was on Newsnight. Now, they cannot conflate this, and they cannot get around the fact that this was produced in-house, and this was more than 2 years before the BBC Panorama documentary, sarcastic quote marks. So they can't actually get around saying, well, this wasn't us. They can't get around that. Alright. And they've not apologised for that. And the Donald has just been made aware of that, and he's very unhappy. I'd be very unhappy as well. My reputation being dragged through the mud by an alleged impartial public service broadcaster that the British people are paying for, I would be upset as well. And these are not isolated incidents, it happens all the time. If you look at the Israel-Gaza conflict in the Middle East, put aside who you side with, it's pro-Gaza propaganda, alright? And then you look at what they did to poor Cliff Richard back in the day, alright? They made him out to be some sort of monster, and had to pay him off £2 million. So when you get public people, like our politicians, or I laughingly use the phrase politician, like a Davy, saying that a foreign actor, as in a foreign agent, a foreign politician, a foreign president, suing our BBC for up to £1 billion or up to £5 billion, it's not on. That's what he's saying, it's not on. But it's alright for them to run hit pieces on public figures in the UK and pay out domestically, just not internationally. What's he trying to get at? Is he trying to get at the fact that you can be as untruthful and biased as you possibly can and not be called out on it? What's he trying to convince us of here? And then we get into this. Okay, this is the first clip I want to play. This is the first... Hang on. No, it's not. Hang on. No, it's not. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to play a couple of clips. Now, the first one is Ed Davey in the comments lambasting Keir Starmer, imploring him to see reason and to talk our closest ally out of suing the alleged public service broadcaster that's a bastion of impartiality. This is the first clip, and then we'll move on to the clip because GB News secured an interview with the American president yesterday, which aired this morning. I will share that clip next as well, so these are being queued up now. Thank you.
Is under attack from a foreign government. President Trump is trying to destroy our BBC, not because he cares about the truth, but because he doesn't want to get away with his lies. Trump has undermined press freedom in America. Now he's trying to do the same here, disgracefully egged on by the leader of Reform.
That's important that he's being egged on by Reform. I'm going to get to that later in the video, and that's how we're going to unite the right in the country if everything goes according to plan. Some people can't see the woods for the trees, but I'm a bit gifted and I can see these things.
So will the Prime Minister tell President Trump to drop his demand for $1 billion settlement from the BBC?
Yeah, that's changed. He's looking for $5 billion now, and his money well spent if it gets rid of the BBC.
And will he guarantee that President Trump will not get a single penny from British licence fee payers?
Here's the thing, as I've said, they're happy to pay off domestic people like Cliff Richard. They're happy to do that. So it is a textbook example of TDS, Trump Derangement Syndrome. That is the only explanation for Ed Davey's nonsense.
Let me be clear, I believe in a strong and independent BBC.
It's not independence. It's the arm's length quango of state propaganda. They like to say this. They like to say the police are operationally independent. They like to say the judiciary is operationally independent. The BBC is operationally independent. What that means is it gives them plausible deniability. It's not our problem. It's someone else's problem. This is the way the managerial state is meant to work. You're always meant to refer up or refer down. Nobody ever takes accountability. The two people that have been sacked from the BBC that have signed off or resigned, do you think that they were responsible for putting this documentary out? No, they weren't. It's merely the optics, it's the sacrificial lamb. They had nothing to do with it. Alright, below their pay grade.
Some would rather the BBC didn't exist.
Too bloody right.
Some of them are sitting up there.
Some of them are watching this video, making this YouTube video about it. Alright, it's not just Reform.
I'm not one of them. In an age of disinformation, the argument for impartial British news service is stronger than ever. And where mistakes are made, they do need to get their house in order.
This wasn't a mistake when you've got 9 out of 10 people on your documentary anti-Trump and you've got a singular one pro-Trump voice. That is not impartiality.
And the BBC must uphold the highest standards, be accountable and correct errors quickly. But I will always stand up for a strong, independent BBC.
David. This is right, that the BBC's independence and impartiality are absolutely crucial. That's why we must stop President Trump from undermining them. But President Trump's not the only one, Mr. Speaker. The last government spent years...
So we'll leave that one there. They go on to blame the Tories like they blame the Tories for everything, but that's besides the point. I want to get to the clip that what Trump said that's very revealing, which is how the right is going to be united, and why the establishment media, if they've got an ounce of nous, if they've got an ounce of gumption, if they've got an ounce of... if they know what they're doing, then they should be shitting themselves. So I'm going to play the clip now.
They haven't offered, our understanding is they've offered no money whatsoever. They've apologised in a letter, but they haven't offered you a penny in compensation. There was this figure of $1 billion that you may be pursuing.
I think I have an obligation to do it. Look, I'm not looking to get into lawsuits, but I think I have an obligation to do it. This was so egregious. If you don't do it, you don't stop it from happening again with other people. I think you probably have an obligation. I'd like to find out why they did it. You know, it's so bad.
Yeah.
Who thinks like this? And I wonder if they've done it, and we'll find this out. You know, the nice part about litigation is we'll find out how many times have they done it to other people.
This is the important thing, alright? This is what's going to unite the right. How many times in the past have the BBC, their Panorama team, how many times in the past have they run hit pieces to discredit and smear people that may be rough around the edges, they may be working class, they may be from a council estate, and they're billed and they're depicted as persona non grata. They are not worthy of screen time. They are not worthy of being included in the debate because of their social class and their background. Alright? This is the important thing, and this is what's going to unite the right.
Maybe they did it to me quite a bit. Because I got a lot of publicity over there before. You know, I was getting in Aberdeen, which is such a great place.
So we'll leave that one there, but that's the point of the litigation. So we'll leave that one there. We'll leave that one there. The point that Trump made in this interview with Bev Turner from GB News. You want to check out the full interview, by the way, on their channel. It's an interesting watch. He's made the point that through litigation, through court proceedings, so it's all perfectly legit, legal and above board, what you can do is you can do a deep dive into the practices of an organisation, the way they smear people, rubbish people. If they've done it to the presidents of the free world, who haven't they done it to? This is the question. We know they've done it to Sir Cliff, and they settled with Cliff Richard, but about 6 years ago, they did it to Tommy. Look at this. Far-right activist Tommy Robinson has staged a protest outside the BBC headquarters in response to a documentary being made about him. During the demonstration in Manchester, he screened a panodrama in a film that made himself in response to the Panorama investigation into him. So there we go. This is what's going to unite the right. Think about it. That lot, to quote Richard Tice. Alright? He made a mistake when he said that, and he knows he made a mistake because they've sort of backpedaled on it. Now, as a Reform voter, a Reform member, a Restore Britain member, and also somebody that goes on these Unite the Kingdom rallies and has seen Nick Tanconi there, and other far-right people, or right-of-centre people, all there. This is how the this is how the right can get united. The issue with Tommy and that loss, it's all about association. It's besides the point whether Tommy is a good actor or a bad actor. I actually think he's a decent person, and he's basically been maligned by the legacy media, and that's part of the liberal narrative to keep the working class down. Is Tommy representative of the working class? No. Does he speak for the working class as a whole? No. He's a symbol. He is a figure. Do I know him personally? No. But even I can see that the media bias against him, and it's designed to keep all of us in place. Know your place, be grateful for what you're given, and like it. Even I can see that, alright? A blind man could see it. This is how the right gets united. If the litigation that Trump brings forward proves that not only did they do it to Trump, they've got a track record of doing it to other people of the right over a prolonged period of time, that means that Tommy, he gets a PR makeover. He's no longer persona non grata because it's been in court and has been proven that he's been smeared by the BBC. Alright? How many other people have they smeared? How many other people? Think further back. This is why I'm excited, alright? Now, for Reform sins, as I say, I've got a Reform MP. I'm very, very happy with her. She's brilliant. She put out a video, alright, a few weeks, during the United Kingdom rallies and the operations of the Raise the Colours. She put a video out about all of this, so I'm going to play that now. Where is it?
Grangeway in Runcorn, and I wanted to share this fantastic sight with you. Look at these Union Jacks. Someone goes out, puts up the lamppost as high as his ladders will let him. But isn't it wonderful to see people so proud to fly our Union Jack in their communities? And I urge all of you to get out there and put your flags up. I've got one up in my own garden. We are proud to be British. And
So this is what they're doing, alright? They realise they made a mistake. They realise they alienated a core part of their vote. And they're trying to make nice. And this is an example of it, alright? When this lawsuit is out in the public eye and it's getting airtime and coverage, not only will the BBC need to admit that they are institutionally biased towards the liberal worldview, the post-war consensus, and they are there to make sure that that is preserved, they also have to admit that the rubbishing people that are outside that Overton window, outside the, what you can say in polite circles, and it's going to come down. It's going to come down like a house of cards. Now, if you like this video and you think I'm right, make me aware. Like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Have a good day. Exciting times. Thank you for watching.